Boy, it is weird being on this side of the camera.
I'm Jean Leahy, the church office manager. I'm receiving phone calls. A lot of these people I've known, they've been here a long time, been church members, raised their children in the church, and have seen a number of ministers come and ministers go, and have really enjoyed Bill.
I've been a member of Piedmont Community Church for about 30 years. Well, I would say my impression of Bill when I first was exposed to him would have been a sermon, and having that big voice and his ability to bring comedy to his sermon and really bring it home in a way that you can understand touched me as a youth.
When I think of Bill McNabb, my mind immediately goes to two things. One is Hawaiian shirts, and then I think of Scotland. Bill McNabb, the Scotsman, and so I brought in his honor today my Campbell family tartan scarf, which I'm gonna put around my neck, and this clashes a little bit. I remember the first time that you and I went out for coffee, and we found out that we share the same Myers-Briggs personality type. You know what it is, I'm not gonna say it for everybody else, but the funny thing is yes, we do have a lot in common. But I also realize that just like the difference between a tartan and a Hawaiian shirt, there are differences. We're different in many ways too. And I think that combination of similarities and differences between us have really lent themselves to a good dynamic in our church and in our relationship over the last 17 years. We can play off of each other. I think that's been a great strength of us as a team.
Bill has been so supportive of me, and he's trained me. I had no experience at all with children's ministries when I started. As a matter of fact, when he called and asked me to do the job on an interim basis, I was really shocked. I took the job and actually asked to become permanent after a few months because I've loved it so much. I've been here over 13 years, and I think a lot of that has to do with Bill's guidance and support.
I think we've said to each other and to other people a lot of times is life's way too short to work with people that you don't like. And I really appreciate how you've kind of nurtured the family aspect of our whole staff.
I was very nervous. I hadn't been here very long, a couple of years, and I'd finally just started feeling comfortable in my skin. I'd lost my husband, and it was just Nathan and me in California. I remember watching him, and he came up. Not only did he give me his hand, but he also gave me a light hug and saying, "This is going to be great." And just that moment, I knew that it was safe.
So I first met Bill at the Claremont Hotel, and I'm not sure entirely what I expected. What do you expect when you meet a new minister? Maybe we talk theology or worship or something like that. But in fact, we talked about none of that stuff because at the Claremont Hotel, there's a wine bar there. And while we were waiting for our table, Bill stopped and talked about the extensive wines of the Bay Area that he loved. And then he remarked on the local produce we were about to eat in the meal. And I guess we talked about theology somewhere along the line, but what became clear to me was that this is a guy who experiences his spirituality through the full enjoyment and delight of what's right in front of him. Not far off things, but what's right there.
You know, early on, listening to your preaching and teaching and then my own, and you know, we were polarized on some things. We didn't agree on some things, and even from the pulpit, we've said, if not contradictory things, just things that maybe don't line up. And I've always appreciated the availability to have those differences. And I remember you telling me at one point, I was baptizing a kid in a service, and you realize that if I had to answer your 3 questions, I wouldn't get baptized.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the youth intern here working with Scott, and this is Cece, my dog. You'll probably see around if you're here during the week. Bill's daughters and I are the same age or close in age. And just growing up and having Bill be here for most of my life, I am gonna miss that sort of, he's almost like an uncle, you know? I'm gonna miss that.
When Bill asked me to come out to California, I initially said no. I was afraid. I had never lived outside of Ohio, barely traveled, and it was a big proposition. But I remember Bill said, "Michael, I don't think this is the end of the conversation. This is just the beginning. Man, you were right." From that point forward, I said yes to everything. I'd never gone camping until I went to Mexico. Barely been out of the country, and then I traveled with you to Malawi. This is all in the last 3 years. And it's because of you. It's because you wouldn't take no for an answer. Thank you for a great 3 years, my friend.
I love sitting in the back of the church when you are officiating a wedding. I watch what's going on, and you always have such a delightful way of bringing in personal little comments about the bride and groom and bring chuckles to their guests. That is and everyone is totally different, and I just enjoy that very much, and I will miss that when you are not here.
I am going to miss his connection. He really was present for me in connecting, and that's important to me. It is a sincerity. So that's what I'll miss. I also will miss his, and I don't know if you want to say that, but he taught me everything. I knew nothing about wine when I got here.
I hope that you will keep in mind that God never stops speaking, and listen for God's call for what your next chapter in life will be. Just because you're retired doesn't mean that you don't have a future. You have a healthy, happy future that God is giving to you. So make the best of it. Good luck, and my love to you and Maureen.
And I think that the final thing that I'm going to miss about Bill is the generosity. You know, he when you meet him, he's this bigger than life kind of guy, and everything's just this way. You know, at Piedmont Church, every communion service, we say the 23rd Psalm at the end. And of course, there's the line, "My cup runneth over." And I thought that pretty much sums up Bill. Bill's a cup runneth over kind of guy.
I miss you, Bill. I hope you have a wonderful retirement, but I will miss you. So don't think you're getting all the way out of my life. That's all I got.